Countdown for blast off. X minus 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Fire.
Welcome to Lord Blood-Rah's nerve-wracking theater.
Ah, my lords and ladies, geeks, geekerellas, geekulas, and geekeritas. I am Lord Blood-Rah, and this is Lord Blood-Rah's nerve-wracking theater. Laura Van E is dead. She's dead at the beginning of tonight's film, and she remains dead at the end of tonight's film. And what happens in between are the memories of a corpse. However that works. Tonight, it's the 1947 murky murder mystery, Scared to Death. Scared to Death is the only color film ever to star the great Bela Lugosi. He stars tonight as the sinister stage magician, Professor Leonard. And it's great to see the dark prince of horror in color for once. This movie also stars George Zucco, who will be familiar to you many horror geeks out there from his many appearances in the Universal Mummy movies and many, many Poverty Row thrillers. And being that tonight's movie is on the shorter side, afterwards we'll have a special episode of the television classic One Step Beyond. But now, without further ado, I give to you a tale told from a cold slab. Here is Scared to Death.
Yes, Doctor. And the police are particularly anxious that the cause of death be determined at the earliest possible moment.
It's a pity. She was a very beautiful woman. One hates to perform an autopsy on a beautiful woman.
But you've no other choice, Doctor.
Most unusual. There are no marks of violence on the body. What do they suspect? Poison? Have they any idea?
My understanding is, Doctor, that the authorities are entirely at sea as to how she was killed. They know why, but, and they also have the fellow who killed her, but...
Yes, that doesn't matter. That's none of our business. Our business is to find out what killed her. And yet, one often wonders, what could have caused the last thought that was cut off by death? If it were spoken now, what would it be?
If you're here, you found me at last. But you know what you killed me. I warn you. Don't come another step. No, don't, please. Don't. No, I told you I didn't want the bandage.
so opposed to the bandage? Does it remind you of something, perhaps?
What do you mean?
Oh, nothing, Laura, nothing. Now, won't you lie down again and let me complete the examination? You're a sick girl, you know, in a highly nervous condition.
I want to know what you meant by saying the bandage reminded me of something.
If you don't know, how should I?
You don't fool me for a minute, Doctor. I know how you feel about me.
Do you, Laura? Then I wish you'd tell me, for I don't know. I don't know how I feel about you at all.
You're clever, Doctor. But I'm wise to you and that fool of a son of yours.
How long have you been married to Walt now?
Too long.
And why don't you give him his divorce? He's asked you often enough.
I'll give him a divorce when I'm good and ready.
I see.
I'm not afraid of anything he can do, or you, or anyone else. What's that?
Your heart's beating like a trip hammer. I must warn you of this high state of nervous tension.
What's that noise?
It's only a branch tapping against the window. Now, my dear Laura, if you want me to help you, you must tell me what it is you fear.
I told you I'm not afraid of anything. I know what's going on here. Someone's trying to scare me out, but it won't work, see? Here I am, and here I'll stay until I rot.
I'm afraid there's more truth in that than you suspect.
Laura, I must ask you not to cause Father any more trouble. I don't want you threatening him, you hear?
You too. You're so cute. I'm sure you want to be alone.
You're not going to make him pay for my mistake.
What are you going to do about it?
I'd like to.
You'd like to choke me, wouldn't you, Ward? You haven't got the nerve. Here. This is the only thing you ever gave me. You can have it back.
She's right. I gave her this when we were married. It's the only gift that ever passed between us.
Ward, what do you propose to do about Laura?
What can I do? She won't leave me. She won't give me a divorce.
Well, things can't go on this way, you know.
Dad, what is the matter with her? What do you think is wrong?
I don't know.
She wasn't this way until she began getting those letters from abroad, you remember?
Yes, it had something to do with those letters.
But you would have thought that when they stopped coming, that...
What is it, Elizabeth?
There's a patient, Doctor, a Mrs. Williams.
Williams?
That's the name she gave, and she's decked out like she's going to a horse show.
I can't see anyone today. Ask her to make another appointment.
Dad, please don't let what has happened interfere with your practice.
Very well. Send her in a few minutes.
Sure, Doctor. Oh, yeah, that Bill Raymond's waiting. Do you want to see him?
Who's he?
That private cop who's always hanging around just hoping somebody gets murdered.
Oh, yes. He's probably come for his check. Take care of it, will you, Ward?
Yes. Elizabeth,
Yes.
this for you.
Gee. Thanks, Mr. Roy. But this belongs to Mrs. Van E, doesn't it?
Not anymore. It's all yours.
She won't get sore, will she? I don't want to have any trouble with her. You know how she is.
I know. We all know, Elizabeth. And I want to thank you for your patience.
Run along now, Elizabeth.
Yes, Doctor.
One often wonders, what could have caused the last thought that was cut off by death?
I often wonder that myself. Don't you? No? Well, I do. And to satisfy my curiosity, I collected a sampling of last words spoken by people from all walks of life just before they went off into the great beyond, whatever's to come. They bit the big one. Let's see here. Bob Hermstead of Boston, Massachusetts, spoke his last words to his wife when he said, "Will you shut up already, Emma? I don't need to turn the main power off to replace this light switch. I know what I'm doing." Apparently not. Young Daniqua Thompson of Oakland, California, spoke her last words while balancing precariously on one of the support cables of the Golden Gate Bridge high above the San Francisco Bay. She said, "Best selfie ever. I hope it was. And just before his passing, Bocephus Pettibone of Putnam County, Florida, said to his friend Clem, "Hold my beer, I'm gonna go tickle that gator." Probably not the best idea that he ever had in his life. Or maybe it was. I didn't know him personally. If you're watching this, you must love horror, science fiction, B-movies, and weird tales. You can help spread that love by signing up at patreon.com/LordBlood-Rah. There you can help support the production of Lord Blood-Rah's Wrackin Theater, presenting the best, worst, and wildest horror and science fiction films ever made. Lord Blood-Rah's Wrackin Auditorium, the podcast featuring chilling old-time radio horror shows best listened to in the dark. And Captain Paxar's Star Cadet Hour, the kind of show kids in the 60s and 70s would run home from school to see, featuring classic science fiction heroes like Flash Gordon, Tom Corbett Space Cadet, Captain Zero, and many more. Plus, if you sign up, you'll have exclusive access to content available nowhere else, like Lord Blood-Rah's B-movie reviews, radio episode commentaries, and more. Sign up today at patreon.com/LordBlood-Rah for the love of horror.
From the depths of hell comes The Devil's Messenger, starring the master of mystery Lon Chaney and Karen Cannon.
You could be my messenger. You'd have to go back. Up there.
Oh, I can't. I won't go back.
You delivered that to a Mr. Donald Powell. Don't be afraid of me.
The Devil's Messenger delivers gifts from hell, turning man into a ravaging beast.
I took a picture of that old farmhouse. There's nobody in the picture. You saw it. Was there anybody in it?
No, there wasn't.
Somebody has come out of that house, and they're coming toward me.
Back from the dead, his lovely victim seeks revenge for her horrible death at the hands of a man driven mad by a gift from hell. Trapped in her icy tomb until the Devil's Messenger exposed her nakedness in her crystal prison.
Now let's get down to here.
She becomes the object of a scientist's lust. His consuming desire for her drives him to commit murder to keep her for himself. Not since Eve received the apple have gifts inflicted such unnatural consequences.
Tonight at midnight, you will be dead.
Just how do you intend to kill me?
I've no idea. I don't even know you.
The crystal ball foreshadows doom, for it is the plaything of the devil, and only he can change the events it foresees. You must see what the Devil's Messenger has in store for you.
Lilybeth, the woman I love. Can't we be friends?
Stop tracking your big flat feet after me wherever I go. I've got things to do.
Oh, gee, it's wonderful just to see you around, busying yourself, the little housewife.
I never knew the cop who didn't love to stand around and watch other people work.
Mrs. Williams, it's obvious from your conversation that you've come into possession of certain facts concerning my past. I know of only one person who could have given you that information, and it was my belief, yes, even my hope, that person was dead. But let me say that even if that person were alive, I should not submit to blackmail from you or from anyone else.
You show great courage, Doctor, for one in your unusual position. There has been no question of blackmail. I came here seeking your cooperation, which you have refused to give. So, let us call the matter closed.
Thank you.
Au revoir, Doctor.
Then came this sinister pair.
little guardian of the doorbell. If you had waited another second, Inigo and I should have kicked the door in.
Yes, sir.
Sir, there is an air of inquiry about you that immediately offends my deepest nature. There is something suggesting Scotland Yard, the French Sûreté, the Italian Carabinieri, the Turkish Polizei, and other minions of the law. Short, sir, I think you're a cop.
Yeah. How'd you know?
I believe I'm in the home of Dr. Joseph Van E.
Yes, sir. I mean, sirs.
Oh, do not be polite to Inigo. He's only offended by it. Run along, Inigo. Make yourself at home.
We got a nice tree in the yard, but it ain't got no coconuts.
My little friend Inigo is deaf and dumb. He cannot hear and he cannot speak. But he reads the lips, and I would advise you to say nothing to annoy him. For his temper is short, indeed. This, I presume, is Dr. Van E's private office.
Yes, sir. But I really should announce you.
My dear girl, if I allowed myself to be announced, I doubt I would be received anywhere.
I'm sorry, really I am, but the doctor won't see anybody without an appointment.
Appointment? I have had an appointment with him these 20 years. He will see me.
Doctor, someone's coming!
My dear doctor, truthfully can it be said that your house is your castle, protected by your countless slaves?
So it is you, Leonard. I was warned you might appear like one of your own illusions out of nowhere.
My dear Joseph, you have not changed a bit.
Have you met my friend, Mr. Raymond?
Raymond? Oh, Raymond. No doubt a relative of the great magician of the same name.
Mr. Raymond is our private patrol officer. He keeps an eye on the premises for us. And other comings and goings.
A very good idea, my dear Joseph, to have a private bodyguard at your beck and call.
Well, you fellas are old friends, I can see that.
Oh, yes. Old friends.
Well, then maybe you'd like to be alone to talk over old times.
A very good suggestion. Thank you, Mr. Raymond.
I won't be far away, Doc. Well, so long, Mr. Leonard. Don't pull any more little men out of your hat.
Well, Leonard, what brings you to me after all this time?
The long arm of coincidence, my dear Joseph. Simply the long arm of coincidence. Aren't you glad to see me again?
No, I can't say that I am. You with your foreign background and I, what have we two in common?
Always truthful, Cousin Joseph. As when we were young men. You might have said no and saved your career. But you prefer to tell the truth and ruin yourself.
What do you want here, Leonard?
A few days' hospitality, my dear Joseph. Nothing more. Is that too much for one cousin to ask of another?
Remember, we agreed not to think of each other as cousins again, Leonard.
Bygones, my dear Joseph. And I'm willing to forget. And I suggest that you do the same.
That little guy that gets no respect in that last segment is being played by Angelo Rosito, best known to genre fans as the brainier half of the dual entity known as Master Blaster from Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome, and also as Angelino from the Todd Browning horror classic Freaks. This is the third film in which he co-stars with Bela Lugosi, the other two being Spooks Run Wild and The Corpse Vanishes. In fact, Lugosi told Rosito that he wanted him to appear in all of his movies. You are my greatest free advertisement, Lugosi told him. When they see you, they can't help but say to themselves, there's the little guy who works with the monster. We'll be back to more of The Little Guy and the Monster after this.
From ancient Genesis to the modern screen, is the name written in blood. Ega!
If I could just call you on the phone. The code of the ghost at the sign of the toad. Nobody lives on the Brownsville Road.
Thrill to the newest recording star, Archibald Jr.
Oh, they're screaming this way.
See ravishing Marilyn Manning in a thrilling, chilling story. The last of the prehistoric giants sees his first girl.
Noah.
Curious newsmen search deep in giant country for the last of the ancient cavemen. See a tough giant tamed by the soft hands of his captive woman. See him sacrifice his ageless beard for her love. Then lose her to a boy in a dune buggy, escaping a burning desert. Ega's primitive passion was love or kill. Hear Ega talk, the ancient language of love, used at the beginning of time. See Ega!
That night, my husband questioned Leonard about my past.
I don't mind telling you, you came at a very bad time. We're having some trouble.
My boy, trouble and I are like this. I presume you refer to the charming lady in the room next to mine, your wife, I believe.
Yes, Laura.
I have met her, but I'm looking forward to the pleasure.
I'd like to talk to you for a moment.
All right.
Perhaps you can help us.
By doing what, my boy?
You've been everywhere. You were caught in Europe during the war. I'd like to show you something. You may be just the person I'm looking for.
If I can be of any service.
Did you ever hear of a dance team called Renee and Lorette?
I don't think so, my boy. And then again,
There must have been such a team. Look.
Renee and Lorette. The dance of the green mask in the green room in Paris. The green room.
Yes?
Oh, the face of the man does seem slightly familiar. May I ask, where you got this photograph?
The maid, Lilibet, found it in Laura's room and turned it over to me.
Oh, then, my boy, I'm afraid I can't help you. I played the green room on several occasions, but never with these people. In fact, I don't seem to remember them at all. And I appeared in many clubs during the occupation.
I'm sure the girl behind the green mask in this picture is Laura.
How can you be sure? Who can ever be sure what's behind the mask? If the people in this photograph could suddenly come to life.
I'd like to know who the man is.
It can be anyone, my friend. Anyone. In this makeup, it might be even I.
I wish you wouldn't joke about it. This is very serious.
Of course. But let us say you found out who the man in the photograph is. What then?
I have an idea that if the man in this picture were to show up, I'd find out I wasn't married to Laura at all. Think over what I've asked you. It'll be to your advantage.
Certainly, my boy. I will give it every consideration, and perhaps something will occur. Who knows? Don't you want to leave the photograph with me for my further study? It might be the very incentive that my memory needs.
No, thanks. I'll keep it.
As you wish.
I'll make a bet the man in green will get you yet.
A gruesome surprise was in store for me the following morning. Who is it?
It's me, ma'am.
What do you want?
The afternoon mail. You wanted to know when it arrived.
Was there anything for me?
Yes, ma'am.
Put it under the door.
I can't. It's a package.
What's in it?
I don't know. It's against postal regulations to open other people's mail.
That's never stopped you before.
I'd like to know what you mean by that remark, ma'am.
Oh, shut up and get out.
Don't you want me to help you open?
No, I don't. Get out.
It's addressed to you in green ink with a warning. Look out for the man with the green bag.
Which way did he go?
Get out! Get out!
I just heard you yell. I was hoping it was a murder at least.
Get out! I tell you, you have no business here.
Well, but you don't understand. I'm supposed to be here. That's what I'm being paid for.
Paid?
Yeah. You see, I'm Bill Raymond, private cop in this neck of the woods. I was hoping we'd have a little murder or something happen around here so as I could solve it and get my old job back at Sentinel Homicide. Nothing personal, of course.
Who told you to say these things to me?
Well, nobody said nothing to me. I was just waiting around outside to see Dr. Van Nee, and I heard you yell.
So you're a friend of that crazy doctor and his son?
Crazy? I wouldn't exactly say that, ma'am. The doc's a pretty good egg. You wouldn't want anyone to say you was crazy, even if you...
You can go back and tell him I'm not afraid of being murdered by you or them or anyone else.
No, I don't guess you are, ma'am. Still and all, if you was to get murdered and I was to find out who done it, it'd be kind of a break for me.
That don't be kosher.
I wouldn't say that to you, lady, even if I knew what it meant.
Now, will you get out?
All right. I can take a hand. Nice little bedroom companion you've got there.
Get out.
I'll go, but don't think I'll come running next time you yell. I'll know what to think.
I became afraid and my mind started to crack.
Lilybeth, my melancholy baby, where are you?
Aw, come on. Somebody do the poor guy a favor and get murdered already. Give the guy a break. Be a sport. It'd be nice if you could make it really easy for him, too. You know, with a lot of clues and photographic evidence and witnesses. Make it easy for him to figure out, you know? Get Bill Raymond back on the police force. Get yourself killed. Be a job creator.
Okay, banga banga.
Since when do you talk a native language?
I just started today.
Well, what do you say?
What do you say? I don't even know what I said.
Do I, baby? Of course I do. Duke Mitchell and Sammy Petrillo turn an island paradise into the zaniest madhouse in the 7 seas. Charlita puts a gleam in Duke Mitchell's eyes. Your smile only added life to your masquerade. Muriel Landers puts the whammy on Sammy.
Sammy! Run for your life! Go on, get out of here. Run for your life.
Ramona, the romantic chimp, takes off on a romantic chase of her own.
Strange. But interesting.
Really think so? What a charming compliment.
Bela Lugosi finds the perfect subject to turn a gorilla into a goof, and versa versa.
Look, what are you trying to tell me? I don't understand a word. What am I, dumb or something? Don't answer that. Now look, Duke Mitchell, I'm running this game, you understand? And don't talk back. Yeah, now put it on, because we gotta get out that door.
And now, back to Scared to Death, as Laura calmly questions the help about her mysterious package.
Where'd you get that box? I don't know what you're talking about. You lying little snoop going through my things. What'd you do with the picture? Where is it? I didn't see it. That's the last time you put your hands on me. I'll give you one more chance, and then I told you I don't know where the picture is, and I don't know what you're talking about. It's been you all the time going through my things, opening my mail, rapping on my door at night. Now you're blaming me. I've never touched anything of yours. You've got my robe on now. Where'd you get that? I was just trying it on. Mr. Ward gave it to me. He said you didn't want it anymore. I'll tell you when there's something I don't want. Oh, shut up. It's only a dummy. A dummy? Where'd you get that thing? I suppose you're going to tell me you don't know anything about that either. Oh, I bet it was in the box. In the box I brought up for you, that's what. There were no stamps on it. How did it get in the mail? I don't know. The doorbell rang, and I thought it was the mailman. I opened the door, and it was sitting there on the stoop. You're lying. No, I'm not. I don't mind telling a lie now and then, but I'm not lying now, honest. You're trying to scare me out. I'm not leaving. No, but I am. You come here. You and Mr. Ward are pretty thick, aren't you? Thick? Yes, thick like your head. He's fallen in love with someone else. Who is she? I don't know. It's not me. I know it isn't you. I know all the signs. He's fallen in love with some simple-faced man. There's always a way to get even with them. I've got to find that picture. Otherwise, they won't know what he looks like. I've got to send it to the police. He won't dare touch me.
Who do you mean, the man in the picture?
Have you seen him?
Maybe I have, and maybe I haven't. Maybe I saw him go behind the thicket, or through the wall, or under the house.
He's here in the house?
Yes. I let him in. I let him in. He was waiting outside to get you, Miss Laval. Miss Laval.
There's nothing safe from your prying eyes, is there? You think you know everything, don't you?
I know why you're afraid, and I know what you've done. No, I'm not so thick. I'm not as thick as you think I am, Miss Laval.
Yes, I was scared. Scared of my life.
I expected big things of that ghoulish-looking guy, but he ain't delivered neither.
I should say, in a way, you were entitled to expect big things from him. Leo was once confined in this house when it was an institution for the insane. Nerves, you know.
Do tell. Well, then, he must know his way around the place, huh?
I understand while he was here, he engineered an immense number of secret passages through which the guards could keep an eye on the inmates at night. Finally, he took one of these passages into the outside world, and we heard later he'd been seen in Europe.
Ah, Europe. That's where history's being made today. Gee, I'd love to travel and...
Well, perhaps you'll have an opportunity someday.
Not if something don't happen around here pretty soon to make me famous. That Lilybeth. I've been trying to get a cup of coffee off of her all day. She don't care what happens to my metabolism. Metabolism. That's a good word. I wonder what it means.
Operator, I want the police right away.
Stop crowding me.
But, hon, don't you want me around to protect you? That Indigo guy might...
Yes, but who's going to protect me from you?
Lilybeth. My wild Irish rose. I just live for the day when I can take you out of all this. When I can slave and get you the luxuries in life. Gee, I'd gladly work my fingers to the bone to buy you expensive motor cars and furs and jewels and things and serve you breakfast in bed. What's the matter with me? Am I crazy?
Yes, and I'd hate to hang by my neck until you got me all those things.
Yeah, you might get a little blue in the face. Still and all I gotta do is to find myself one slightly murdered body, and I'm in.
Stop looking at me.
From Haiti, land of the voodoo, comes the most infamous cult of all. Bela Lugosi as Murder Legendre.
I see death.
Master of the undead damned. The sinister power behind the white zombie.
Zombies? Yes. They are my servants.
This soul killer takes men from their graves to be his slaves. His instruments of terror, and now this fiend plots to possess a woman.
Only a pinpoint, Monsieur Beaumont, in a glass of wine, or perhaps a flower. Keep it, monsieur. Keep it. You may change your mind.
Not dead? Are you mad? I saw her die. The doctor signed the certificate. I saw them bury her.
Captive in the borderland between life and death. Her brain drained of the life spark. The white zombie obeys the unholy commands of her demon master. As mindless creatures carry out his cursed will, terror explodes in horror and heartquake.
Zombie! Allez, allez!
Never eyes so evil, never powers so potent, never magic so black. Bela Dracula Lugosi as the master of the white zombie.
Now back to Scared to Death, see? And the next character we're about to meet is a Class A 100% genuine example of a wisecracking 1940s reporter.
The doctor ain't home. You'll have to call some other time.
Don't be silly.
Don't say I didn't tell you. Close the door on your way out.
Hey, wait a minute. Well, if it isn't Bull Raymond.
Terry, you trying to ruin me?
Ruin him. Come here, Bull. Meet Miss Cornell.
How do you do, I'm sure.
Likewise.
How do you happen to be out with him?
Cute, darling, don't you think? Flat at both ends, head and feet. You've heard me speak of him? Bull Raymond.
Bill Raymond, if you please. Mr. Terry Lee, you so-called reporter. How do you happen to be out with a dish like this?
Jane Cornell. Good for dull days in a man's life.
Mr. Raymond. Oh, yeah, I remember. Terry told me about the time you shot up the dressmaker's dummy.
Huh?
Yeah, he said you closed in on what you thought was a murderer, but it turned out to be the dressmaker's dummy, and you shot it full of holes while the real murderer got away.
My pal.
So this is where you've been hiding after they kicked you out for that fiasco, huh, Bull? Bill, I mean?
What are you doing here? Can't a man rehabilitate himself in peace? Here I come, looking for an honest crime around here so I can solve it and get myself back to Central. And you come along and...
Where's the body, Bull? Bill?
There ain't no body. That's the trouble.
No, let's keep it friendly.
Friendly? What do you mean?
Let's have it. Who killed who and why?
Are you kidding? Did somebody get knocked off around here?
Look, I don't like to be kidded either. Where's it hidden, Sherlock?
Oh, Terry, you've been on the police beat so long that...
Now, listen, Bill, you know me well enough to know I wouldn't come out here just for the ride. Not when I could be, It just so happens there was a call to the police. Came from out here. And I happened to be there when it came through. Miss Cornell happens to be the operator. So she tipped me off. Told me the line had gone dead. So I smelled the story, and here I am for an exclusive. You see what I mean? What's in that?
Well, that's the doctor's consulting room, but there ain't nobody in there. I've been standing here for quite a spell.
Open it up. Let's take a look.
That's funny. The lights in here ain't almost never out.
In you go.
Never do that. I could get killed that way.
Is that bad? Oh, so nothing's happened around here, huh?
It's busted. There, see? Like I said, there ain't nobody here. Hey, cut it out, will you? You're making me dizzy. Well, sure, somebody stumbled over it and pulled it out of the wall. Could happen anywhere.
Wants to shake hands with you, Bill. Step right up.
Not me. You seen it first.
Doc! Raymond, did you try and kill me?
Why, Doc, why should I do that? You ain't paid me for last month yet. How long you been here?
Now, let me see. I was going to make a telephone call when...
Somebody conked you, huh, Doctor? Then ripped the telephone wire off?
Yes, I imagine that is about what happened. Who are these people?
Well, they're all right, Doc. This is Terry Lee and Miss Cornell from the Times.
We don't want any reporters here. Nothing's happened.
Look, Doctor, nobody ever wants reporters, but then something happens, and there they are.
But nothing has happened. I fell and hurt my head.
Oh, I see. Then you got up again, put yourself on the table, and got all nice and pretty in that shroud there.
You won't get any story here. And now, if you'll excuse me, I have some work to do.
Doctor, do you mind if we stick around for a while? Seeing that nothing's happened, well, why not?
Very well, you may stay for a while, but I warn you, if you make yourselves objectionable in any way, I'll have Raymond throw you out.
Well, come on. You heard what the doctor said. He's busy. Get out of the office.
Probably a pretty nice guy, caught in a tough spot. That's the way I see it. You wouldn't want me to tell him you got kicked out of homicide, would you, Bill, old boy?
Oh, Terry, you're my pal. You know that, don't you? Would I kick you out?
You would if you could, Bill. Now, why can't we have a little talk, quiet like?
Well, if you just follow me in the parlor over here.
Oh, me too, darling, me too. Darling knows everything about everyone, and that's how I learned.
Good tell.
I just sit at his feet and listen.
Baby, I'm going to miss you an awful lot when I grow tired of you.
Now remember, you're just going to listen.
Well, of course, darling. What else do I do when I'm with you?
Sit down. Now, as I remember it, there was a singer at the Click Club who called herself Laura Laval. Didn't she marry young Ward Vanny a couple of years ago?
I don't know nothing about it.
Oh, yes, you do. It was just about the same time that you had that affair with the dressmaker's dummy.
Oh, yeah. Now I remember, Terry. You're right. She was down to the Click Club, and it was her that married Ward.
Wasn't that on a bet of some kind?
Well, there was a party going on, and somebody dared Ward to ask the singer to marry him, and he thought at the time it was a good gag, and he went along with it.
That's right. He got pretty high and then popped the question at her.
How romantic. I just love that.
Hush, dear. Listen.
Oh.
Well, that's how it happened anyway. Ward woke up the next morning and found himself married solid. He'd asked her, and she'd snapped him up.
Oh, and they lived snappily ever after.
I don't care. I think it was sweet. Darling, couldn't I get you high sometime?
Sweetheart, have you ever heard the old saying about little girls?
What's that?
Little girls should be seen and not heard. Now go on, powder your nose.
All right.
I think I'll be shoving along, too.
Now, wait a minute. We're just getting started. We were talking about a singer who called herself Laura Laval. Pushed her way into this house for good reasons of her own.
Gentlemen, I beg your pardon. I must tell you frankly, I have been eavesdropping.
Professor Leonard, this is a reunion.
My boy, you must forgive me. You seem to remember me, but I do not recollect you. When was it?
What was it? Oh, Professor, it was a long time ago, and I was a kid up in the balcony in Albany.
Yes?
When you brought down the house with great feats of legerdemain.
Oh.
You remember, Professor? That was the night that the box office receipts disappeared, just like magic.
Part of the act, my boy. Just a part of the act. It's a pleasure to meet one of my youthful admirers.
Terry Lee of the Central City Times.
Oh, the press? Well, it's nice to have known you.
Wait a minute, Professor. What's your hurry? Are you afraid I might bring up the subject of those certain unfortunate recent connections of yours?
Shut in the dark, my boy, I'm sure. And I will ignore it.
Of course.
And this young lady, no doubt a companion of yours.
Jane Cornell, my fiancée.
Delighted.
Likewise, I'm sure.
Delightful. And I would suggest to take very good care of her.
Mr. Lee?
Oh, I haven't had a chance to talk to him yet, Mrs. Vanny.
Never mind, I'll tell him myself.
Darling, I met her upstairs and I told her all about you and that you know everything about everyone.
Thank you very much, dear. Welcome to your living room, Mrs. Vanny.
Thank you, but it isn't my living room. I understand you're not unaware of my position in this house.
Well, maybe you can tell us about it.
I'm being kept a prisoner here against my will. I'm alone and friendless.
I'm sorry. Why haven't you called the police?
They've done nothing but to call for the police. They have kept me penniless so that I can't leave.
I understand.
They're trying to destroy my mind, Mr. Lee. By innuendo and indirection, they're trying to make me believe I've done something dreadful in the past. That I'm to be the victim of some horrible vengeance.
You know best about that.
I'm innocent, Mr. Lee. I've done nothing. Now, this doctor's brought some stranger here with these tricks and illusions to further make me believe...
You mean the professor and his little,
Yes. You must help me, Mr. Lee.
Laura, it's so good to see you downstairs again after all these days being locked in your room.
You know perfectly well why I've remained locked in my room.
Ward, this is Mr. Lee of the Times, the gentleman I told you about upstairs.
Oh, yes. Look here, Mr. Lee. We don't want any more of that front-page splash stuff, such as I got when I married Laura.
Your wife's been telling us that she's being kept here under constant threat.
She is out of her mind.
See what I mean, Mr. Lee? They don't overlook a single chance to put it in my head that I'm crazy.
Perhaps I can explain, Mr. Lee. We don't believe there's anything wrong with Laura now. But we are sure something will happen to her mind if she continues to live under this strain.
It's just as I told you, they're behind it. Can't I make that clear to you? They spend all their time trying to terrify me. They write me letters in green ink. They send me dummy heads wrapped in green paper. Anything to frighten me so I can't sleep. I can't think. The only thought in my head is that I'm going to be killed.
These are very serious charges, gentlemen. And I might say it'd make a perfect front-page splash.
Lee, if you dare print a word about those ravings of my wife...
Don't do anything to make me think they aren't ravings, Mr. Van E.
He said to put the blindfold on, and you will know the truth.
No!
What's wrong with her, Doc?
Quiet, Raymond.
You don't mean that she's...
Dead, Raymond.
Attempting to solve the disappearance of a beautiful girl, the East Side Kids invade a haunted mansion and come face to face with sinister Bela Lugosi. The kids take the first round, but that's only the beginning of this terrifying night.
Then I knew that he was here.
Coming out of it, but she's in an advanced state of shock. May be necessary to administer a sedative.
That's intended to shut her up. I'd like to hear her do some more talking, Doctor.
If her mind is allowed to dwell upon what's happened, that may be the breaking point.
Well, you've got all the answers.
Look here, Lee, I don't like your tone. If you have any insinuations to make them to me.
Okay, I will. Suppose you and I talk this over downstairs.
I don't recognize your right to question me. However, if it'll make you leave Father alone...
Bill, fix yourself a chair right outside the door and don't leave until I get back.
Sure. But what about Lily Pad? Don't she rate nothing around here?
Now, Lee, first I'd like to see your credentials. You're busting here saying you're a reporter.
That's the old turn the tables gag, Vanny, but if it'll make you any happier, take a look.
All right, you're a reporter. But I still don't understand how you and the young lady got the news about our troubles. Do you really believe that story, Lee? Do you, in your right senses, really believe that we are keeping Laura a prisoner here?
That's what the lady says. She said that...
Nonsense. Nothing would please me more than if she got out.
Look, I don't get any of this stuff, Vanny, but there's a tricky deal going on around here, and I intend to sit in on it. Too bad I can't flash the city desk to make ready for a front-page replay.
Yes, isn't it?
Either your wife is the victim of a well-plotted program of persecution calculated to drive her insane, or she's the witch you say she is.
You're the fellow with the nose for news. What does it tell you?
It tells me that right now I'd like to know where your disappearing relative is. Get back, you fool.
What's out there? I have a right to know. Don't see anything. What was it?
It isn't possible. It isn't possible, of course.
What do you see out there, Lee? I've had enough of this.
Come on.
Are you nervous, Miss Cornell?
Oh, no. I think it's very exciting.
Well, Professor, I thought I just saw you outside baying at the moon.
You disturbed her sleep. Poor child.
Where have you been? How about you start acting normally for a change? You're bringing suspicion upon all of us.
I, my boy? What have I done?
Suppose you tell us.
Has no one arranged to silence you yet, Mr. Lee? What a pity.
I don't silence very easy, Professor, and it'd take a lot more than what you've done to her.
Do you suggest that I had a hand in that poor girl's unfortunate demise?
Why don't you behave yourself, Professor? Mr. Van E here has the right idea. You're just gumming up the works.
I did my humble best.
Who are you working for? What do you expect to get out of it?
I'm discharging a debt, Mr. Lee. A debt contracted many years ago. Now, are you any wiser than you were a moment ago?
No, but I'm beginning to get a general idea.
By the way, how's that little girl of yours? I hope fervently that nothing happened to her. She would look so beautiful lying here.
Look, Professor, I may not have been very smart in bringing Miss Cornell here, but if I thought you had any plan to do that...
Why do you persist in making me the villain, Mr. Lee? Now we will let you be the witness, Mr. Lee. I am here. The sounds came from upstairs, right?
Always reliable. Now what do you rehearse?
In there, Terry. In there. It's murder.
Jenny, wake up! Wake up!
Oh, Terry.
Tell me, what happened?
Oh, Terry, darling. Let me think. Everything went black and...
Yes?
Then it started to talk.
What started to talk?
I don't know. That thing.
Now, look, let's get back to the beginning. I left you here with Dr. Van E.
Yeah, and then he gave Mrs. Van E a shot with a long needle.
Never mind that.
All right. Then he said, would I sit with Mrs. Van E?
Okay. Where is she now?
Who?
Mrs. Van E.
Where did she go?
That's just what I asked you, Janie.
Well, she was right here. Then Dr. Van E went out.
Then what happened?
Then Bill Raymond came in.
Oh, that's great. The two of you in the same room at the same time. How did you communicate with each other? Sign language?
Oh, I don't care. All you do is make fun of me. I didn't ask to come to this, whatever it is.
Oh, yes, you did, dear. Don't you remember? You said you wanted to see what the life of a reporter was like.
Don't forget, Mr. Lee, one must not expect too much of certain types of mentality.
Shut up, Bill Raymond. I remember you when you couldn't even make your X.
Oh, I want to go home.
We can't go home, darling. We've got to get a story.
Why?
You don't understand.
Yes, I do. Why do we have to get the story? Who cares?
She's got you there.
All right. Now, you tell me, what happened to you?
Me? Oh, well, you said to stay outside the door, and I pulled up a chair.
That's right. She was inside the door, and you were outside.
Then come that odor of heavenly perfume.
That was an lily pad.
It was sweet and penetrating, like an ancient drug. And I felt kind of sleepy-like. Oh, so sleepy.
At last, he had me under his power.
Lily Beth! Gee, this ain't natural.
Who are you talking to?
The woman I love. Poor little angel. Try and speak to me.
She can't hear you.
What was you doing outside? You're supposed to be dead. Now you stay right here, honey. I gotta catch that guy in the shrubbery. Oh, gee. What are you doing to me, Lily Beth? I got work to do. Lily Beth, be reasonable, will you? If you don't cooperate, I'll never get back to Central.
Never mind, Raymond. Take care of Lilybeth. Lilybeth?
Yeah, that's who it was. I opened the door and she fell right in my arms. Like she had something special to tell me. You notice that fragrance about her? And to think this wilted flower was once even as you and I.
Take her back into Dr. Van E's office. What's she doing wandering around? She's supposed to be a corpse.
What happened to that guy outside?
Never mind.
You found her. I never knew she was lost.
I missed her. I missed her from my office. Will you please take her back?
What are you going to do?
Yes, Doctor, and what have you been doing? We've turned this house upside down trying to find you.
Hardly that, young man. If you'd done that, you would have found me.
Now, Raymond, we can't allow this girl to remain in this condition any longer.
Well, what can you do? She looks like a perfect stiff to me.
Bring him into my office.
Oh, Doctor.
What did Dr. Van E. mean about the deceased Lilybeth not remaining in that condition any longer? Who's the mysterious figure lurking around the windows in that green mask? What does Bela Lugosi's Professor Leonard have to do with any of this? And how did a goof nugget like Bill Raymond ever become a detective? We'll find out in the conclusion of Scared to Death after these messages, and then, one step beyond that, an episode of One Step Beyond. If you're watching this, you must love horror, science fiction, B-movies, and weird tales. You can help spread that love by signing up at patreon.com/LordBlood-Rah. There you can help support the production of Lord Blood-Rah's Wrackin Theater, presenting the best, worst, and wildest horror and science fiction films ever made. Lord Blood-Rah's Wrackin Auditorium, the podcast featuring chilling old-time radio horror shows best listened to in the dark. And Captain Paxar's Star Cadet Hour, the kind of show kids in the 60s and 70s would run home from school to see, featuring classic science fiction heroes like Flash Gordon, Tom Corbett Space Cadet, Captain Zero, and many more. Plus, if you sign up, you'll have exclusive access to content available nowhere else, like Lord Blood-Rah's B-movie reviews, radio episode commentaries, and more. Sign up today at patreon.com/LordBlood-Rah for the love of horror.
Feed me! Food!
Oh, take it easy, Dracula. What do you think I'm carrying here, my dirty laundry?
Where a man-eating, talking plant gives homicide something to think about.
I didn't do it.
Do what?
Whatever.
Ever see this man?
Man, see picture.
Why are you so nervous? Oh, boy, you kiss good, Audrey.
Oh, I guess I just have a good kisser.
Now you will do as I say.
Yes, master.
You will go out and find me some food.
Yes, master.
What's the matter? Don't you like me?
Too bony.
Too bony? Nobody ever told me that before.
Beef is better than veal.
Ah, you're such a dodo. What do you call this? Chopped liver?
We thought that probably you might be able to throw some light on the subject.
That's right, Raymond. Leave her there. There's absolutely nothing wrong with her.
Huh? And you mean I've been pining away for nothing?
She was put in a deep hypnotic sleep, that's all.
But why? Why, Doc? Who done it?
It was done so that she would obey certain orders that were transmitted to her.
If that's true, then why did you declare her dead?
I had my own good reasons.
Would you give me one reason why you like to go around getting hit on the head? That must become a little monotonous.
Mr. Lee, are you sure that you saw what you thought you saw?
Well, I'm not blind. I might be getting a little dizzy in this madhouse. You know, Doctor, morning isn't very far off. And when the police get here, you've got an awful lot of explaining to do. You're in this up to your neck.
By morning, let us hope no explanations will be necessary. Everything will have explained itself.
Poor little sleeping beauty. Do you suppose someone thought she looked weak-minded and picked her out to carry out his commands?
That's not always the case, Raymond. If Leonard were here, we could settle this case very quickly. Gentlemen?
It is my peculiar misfortune to always be in a position where I may eavesdrop. How can I be of service, Cousin Joseph?
Oh, Professor.
Ask me no questions, my friend, and I will tell you no lies.
Leonard, you could undo certain mischief that has been done this girl. I know you can help if you will.
I could, my dear Joseph. But I will not bring down the wrath of the unknown madman who is loose about these premises. It is a matter of self-preservation. I had nothing to do with hypnotizing this girl.
I have an idea that she may have already carried out the unknown's orders and that he no longer needs her.
Nevertheless, my dear Joseph, you must excuse me.
Just a minute, Professor. I wonder what would happen, Professor, if in connection with your sudden reappearance here, somebody dug up the old story of why you swindled Dr. Van E. and then ran off and let him take the rap.
I will not be blackmailed, Mr. Lee. And I observe again that you're a young man who knows too much for his own good. And I would also like to know where you obtained all this information. You're extremely young to have your fingertips on events of 20 years ago.
I have a memory like an elephant. I never forget something once I hear it. I'm a sharpie, Professor. As every one of you will admit before morning. Now, Doctor, I'd like to bore you with a few questions.
I wouldn't mind, young man, if you had the slightest idea of what you were looking for.
Maybe if we start back to the time around midnight, when you administered what you call a sedative to your daughter-in-law.
Are you inferring that I had anything to do with Laura's disappearance?
Why do you keep evading the issue, Doctor? You know you'll have to confess when the police get here anyway.
I would remind you, young man, that you're making a direct accusation, and I refuse to answer.
Look, I want the facts and I want them now. Let's cut out the mulberry bush routine. Listen, Bill, you're supposed to be a cop and you want to get back to homicide. Help me make the doctor loosen up. He knows a lot more than he's telling.
Well, sure, I'll help Terry, but first let's get Lilybeth out of this. Maybe she can tell us something.
Yes, Mr. Lee, it seems to me that you're not too anxious to have Lilybeth restored to consciousness.
What do you hear, Doc?
Her heart's in a very depressed condition. Someone's been giving her orders by mental telepathy.
Hey, could I learn to do that? Supposing Lilybeth was in the kitchen, could I telegraph her a wish for a cup of coffee, huh?
Perhaps, Raymond, someday when we have a little time, I'll indicate the principles of hypnosis to her.
My dear Joseph, the principle of hypnosis isn't as simple as you would make them believe. It requires a long and patient study. But I will risk the wrath of the unknown. For I see you truly love this child. And for your sake, I shall use my knowledge.
Oh, gee, thanks, Professor. You're solid.
Och börjat jag fick med lätten. Allt flächen var felfiletten. Larm och söt i vannar. Wake up. Wake up.
Lilybeth, darling.
Keep your big hands to yourself. What are you slapping me for?
Professor, put her back to sleep. It's better that way.
What have you been doing to me?
Me? What have I been doing?
Yes, what have you been doing?
You gotta learn me that hypnotism trick. It's my only chance.
Tell me, Lilybeth, what happened?
Well, I can't seem to remember it. It all seems like a dream.
Did you see anyone?
No. But I do remember a perfume, a sweet odor.
Yes, go on.
Terry, darling. Oh, Terry, darling.
Yes, Jane. What is it?
Is it Halloween?
No, it isn't.
Then why was that green face bobbing up at the window?
What?
Yeah, a green face just like the one I saw in Miss Van E.'s room.
You saw a green face in Mrs. Van E.'s room?
Well, yes, darling, that's what she was shooting at. I mentioned it to you, but you're so scatterbrained.
Now, look, Jane, please, be yourself. No, I mean, don't be yourself. Just relax. Relax.
Mr. Lee, just a moment. Where were you? Were you upstairs?
No, I was down here talking with your son. And by the way, where is he?
Here I am, Mr. Lee. What can I do for you?
Will you stop it?
Yes, I was listening outside the door. You haven't answered my father's question yet.
Oh, come on, take it easy, take it easy. Maybe you can tell us where you've been, Mr. Van E. Of course you don't know anything about your wife's whereabouts.
Oh, go on, tell him where she is. I want to go home. I'm hungry.
Quiet, everybody, quiet! Laura!
He's under a hypnotic spell.
Ladies and gentlemen, it has been an exciting night, and you all are deserving of some explanation and relaxation for the strange goings-on.
The guy who's doing the talking is behind the wall somewheres.
Now you're getting smart, Sherlock.
We introduce at this time the team of Laurette and Renee as they appeared at the height of their success in the green room of the Paris Creole.
Sure, the mask, the picture.
Mademoiselle Laurette.
Now I know who he is.
Mademoiselle Laurette will now put a bandage over her eyes, the better to see the inner truth.
Very good, Renee. Very good. Just like the old time.
Would any member of the audience like to ask Mademoiselle a question? Come, Mr. Lee. You have been so full of questions up to now.
I'm thinking, brother.
We cannot keep Mademoiselle too long in this delicate mental balance. She has been under a great strain lately. Then I will ask the questions myself.
Yes, Renee, I'm at your command.
Are you afraid now?
No, I'm quite safe.
Will you tell the truth?
Yes. They came to me and said your partner, he of the magic feats and rare impersonations, is a spy. But we can't prove it. We will give you 1,000,000 francs if you, Laurette, bring us that proof.
Now we shall know.
You gave them the proof they wanted?
Yes.
They took him away to be killed?
Yes.
What was he to you, this man you betrayed? This man you sold to the enemy for money?
He was my husband.
When they told you he was to be executed, you sent this man a gift for his last moment before the firing squad. What was it?
It was a green scarf for his eyes.
Like the one you're wearing now?
Yes.
Why did you send it?
It was my scarf. I wanted him to know I had betrayed him because I hated him. He was good and kind, but I hated him for the power he had over me.
I see. That is your only defense. You hated. You thought they shot him. You escaped to America. You thought you were safe. Then you found out he was alive and wanted revenge. Thank you, Mademoiselle Laurette. You may remove the bandage now. What do you see on the cloth, Mademoiselle?
There's a hole in it.
Yes. What else, Laurette? What else?
There's blood on it. There's blood.
I have come back. I am here. And I will have my revenge.
No! No, don't touch me!
Outside, under the window. You know where.
Yes, he had his revenge. She's been living in mortal terror that he'd find her.
Just a minute, lady. You ain't going nowheres. Well, if it ain't Mrs. Williams, come along with me. Come on. You want me to slug you? Get inside. Hey, Terry, come here. Get a load of this. There's your man. At last I caught me a murderer.
You're wrong. I never laid a hand on her. Nay, my boy, you kept your promise to me. You said you wouldn't touch her.
But she's dead, ain't she? And you ain't going nowhere till we find out what killed her. And you, Professor, you know too much for your own good. I'm holding you, too.
Now you're getting smart, Bill. Well, Professor, I see you two know each other.
Yes. Renee was my assistant. I taught him everything he knows. He went out for himself and became a success. Later, we met in a concentration camp. And here we are. A small world, Mr. Lee. A small world, indeed.
Terry, isn't this the place where you get the marriage licenses?
No, dear, this is the morgue. The morgue.
Oh, darling, you say the cutest things. The morgue. Oh!
Now, never mind, dear. You just stay right here. Nobody will get you.
Oh, but...
Well, Doctor, got anything to add to my story of the year?
Who's this Renee?
Renee was her husband. She turned him over for a sum. Figured the Nazis would take care of him, but he had ideas of his own.
Look, Doc, was it murder? Do I finally get a break? Was she murdered?
We're sending the report to the police.
What does it say?
Oh, come on, Doctor. Don't hold out on us.
I didn't understand it at first, but I do now. There were no marks of violence on the body, and we found no internal disturbances.
What does this all add up to, Doctor?
Yes, let's have it.
She was literally scared to death.
Yes, she was scared to death. Just like the title of the movie says. Kind of anticlimactic, really. I mean, she was dead at the beginning of the movie, and her condition didn't really change by the end of the movie. She was still dead. And how does a corpse have a flashback, anyway? Well, anyway, after this mercenary ordeal, we'll be back with an episode of One Step Beyond.
Larry!
From the exotic geisha houses of Tokyo to the back alleys of the Ginza Strip comes the terrifying news of a fiendish creature that threatens to destroy all who stand in his way. This is the frightening story of an American reporter in Tokyo who unwittingly became the victim of a shocking scientific experiment that turned him into a horrible mutant, half man, half monster, the Manster.
What happened? He got away. I think I know where he's going, to Taras. Follow me. Right.
There's panic in the streets as the unheard-of terror of a half-man, half-monster runs wild through the city.
There he goes!
Don't miss The Manster, a genuine thriller in the most frightening sense of the word.
And now, my lords and ladies, an episode of One Step Beyond. This 1950s television series recounted supposedly true stories of the supernatural. And in this episode, a young American photographer in France finds a most unusual model. This episode stars a very young Cloris Leachman, a regular on the classic Mary Tyler Moore Show, and, of course, she stole the show in Young Frankenstein as the weird housekeeper, Frau Blucher. Still works after all these years. Well, now, my lords and ladies, without further ado, I give to you the episode of One Step Beyond, entitled The Dark Room.
What you're about to see is a matter of human record. Explain it? We cannot. Disprove it? We cannot. We simply invite you to explore with us the amazing world of the unknown. To take that one step beyond. This is the scene of the crime. This house, somewhere in France. A perfectly normal, attractive American girl. Lived a lifetime. In 48 hours. If old houses could only talk, what stories they could tell. Well, this ancient dwelling has a voice. A voice that Rita Wallace will soon hear quite distinctly.
This is not very modern. It's quite old, but very comfortable. And that, mademoiselle, is the dining room. The living room, the library, anything that you want. What's this? Oh, that's a storeroom now. Many years ago, that used to be the cool room. We used to keep the butter, eggs, milk, all sorts of things like that in there.
I could use it for a dark room. It's right near the sink.
The plumbing is quite old. It still goes. And that is Madame Wrackin.
Lovely.
Oh, mademoiselle.
Oh. I must have caught a flu bug or something.
I'm awfully sorry to say, but I think you have fever.
I'll be all right.
I've got a very good physician. I better call him for you.
Oh, I'll be fine. Oh. Oh.
This is not very impressive, but it's the only house that I have. Of course, I've got a chateau. It's quite grand, but expensive.
No, this is fine. I'll take it. It'll do rotten to look any farther anyhow.
Oh, I think you better see the doctor. My doctor is not very expensive.
No, really, I'll be all right. I'll get some headache pills when I go out. Who's this?
Oh, that is Tante Clara. Mademoiselle, did I understand you to say that you are with an American magazine?
Yes, I'm a staff photographer.
Oh, then you are here on your vacation, no?
No, it's an assignment I wanted to do for a long time, to be called the Face of France. The collective face, you see, caught in various individuals who altogether will express the nature and the spirit of the country, if I'm lucky.
Oh, it must be very, very interesting.
You know what?
What?
You could help make it interesting.
How?
Well, the pictures can be only as good as the models. If you know anyone whose face is interesting, expressing character, good or bad, I'd be very grateful if you could send him over. I'll pay, naturally.
I think I'm going to look for somebody like that.
Oh, good. Oh, that's wonderful.
Oh, it is a very good bed, and I think you're going to sleep very good. If you need anything, call me. I'll be downstairs.
Thank you, madame. What you wanted.
I was sent for, mademoiselle.
By whom? Oh, of course, Madame Morel. Forgive me for being so rude. I'm not feeling any too well today. I must thank Madame Morel. She's a very good judge. Won't you sit down? You have quite a wonderful face, you know. Have you ever had your picture taken before?
Some time ago.
Oh, this is going to be just swell. Oh, where is my head? I left my camera and all my equipment in the car. Would you be so kind as to help me? S'il vous plaît. I hate to miss any of this light. It's all in the car, a whole lot of stuff. Oh, such eyes. This is going to be marvelous. That's nice. Look, oh, good. Lovely. Ah, lovely. Now, you just do whatever you feel like doing. Make yourself comfortable. If you feel like moving around, that's fine. You don't have to hold still.
What are you doing?
I'm taking your picture. You're not familiar with this camera?
No. No, I'm not.
They've had good ones for, 25 years, I suppose. So the film and developers have improved a great deal recently. A good one. They're very good for fast work and changing light. Oh, Mr. Good. Is that good? Wonderful. Now then, look a little to your right. As close to the sun as you can without it hurting your eyes.
It doesn't hurt.
Oh, that's wonderful. Just one more. Oh, that's wonderful. Now, if you have time, I'd like to get some light set up. Oh. I don't know if I'll be able to do it after all. I'm awfully sorry. I feel just awful. Everything goes in and out of focus. Almost like a bad camera. I mean, it isn't the camera, it's me.
Oh, what a shame.
Could you come back tomorrow night?
Yes, I think I can do it again since I have this time.
Oh, good. I'd like to get some very careful shots. I'm really not up to it tonight. Monsieur? Strange, he didn't even say goodbye.
Bonjour.
Oh, hello.
I was quite concerned about you. How do you feel?
Oh, a little better.
Oh, you still look a little tick. You still should see my doctor.
Haven't the time.
Well, you could come over to your place.
Thank you, Mrs. Morel, but I'm really much better. Good, good. Thank you, merci. Anyway, you've done enough for me already by sending me that delightful old gentleman last night. The one with the, the black hair and a sweet face.
Oh, I'm sorry, but I sent no one, although I intend to.
Well, that's odd. I was sure you had. He just sort of appeared. He must have thought I was crazy. Well, who was he then?
Maybe someone that worked for a previous tenant, and he came to see if you needed anyone while he saw you moving in.
Yes, that makes sense. Anyway, he's coming back tonight. He's a wonderful model. Merci, merci. Thank you.
Assume the position and open your minds wide. It's time for your cranial cavity search. Ah, yes, my lords and ladies, the cranial cavity search. Here's a chance for you great geeks out there to prove your geek cred by showing what you know. And tonight's cranial cavity search question is: the great Mr. Bela Lugosi was a huge hit on the Broadway stage as the immortal Count Dracula. But when it came time for Universal Studios to make a movie of Dracula, they did not want Bela Lugosi in the role. Whom did Universal Studios want to play Dracula in the classic 1931 film? A. Conrad Veidt, who played Caesar in The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari. B. Paul Muni, famous actor of the time. C. Lon Chaney Sr., of course, the great Lon Chaney Sr., or D. all of the above. Any ideas? Any clues? Any chance of escaping these commercials? Nope.
Hey, geeks! Want more Lord Blood-Rah? To help support the show and get exclusive content found nowhere else, sign up at patreon.com/Lord Blood-Rah.
Ha-ha! And the answer to tonight's cranial cavity search question. Whom did Universal Studios want to play Dracula in the classic 1931 film instead of Bela Lugosi? It was D. all of the above. Even though Bela Lugosi was a huge hit on Broadway as Dracula, Universal Studios did not want him in the film. Lon Chaney Sr. was signed to star in the film, but sadly passed away before production began. After that, Conrad Veidt, Paul Muni, and a number of other actors were considered. It was only after Bela Lugosi lobbied hard to get the role that he was assigned the part that made his film career. But now, on to the conclusion of One Step Beyond's The Dark Room, as the mysterious model's secrets are revealed.
Would you mind knocking when you come in? Perhaps it isn't the custom in your country, but it makes me terribly nervous.
Forgive me, mademoiselle. I'm sorry.
No, you forgive me. I just don't feel very well, and I'm just not myself today.
Has mademoiselle's ailment improved?
A little, but I'm afraid my disposition hasn't. It was awfully nice of you to come back this evening. Would you like a cup of tea?
No, thank you.
Well, then shall we get started? Good. Would you sit here? By the way, how did you happen to come here last evening? I thought Madame Morel had sent you, but she said no.
Oh, I just came. I've been here before.
Oh, that's what she thought. Oh, by the way, I pay for the posing.
No pay is necessary.
Oh, but of course I wouldn't expect you to do it for nothing. Do the lights bother your eyes?
No, I don't mind.
Good. Now then, I'm using a slower shutter than yesterday, so I'll have to ask you to hold still when I make each shot. Now, could you lean back just a little? There, that's good. Now then, if you're quite comfortable, I'd like for you to think back. Remember something a little sad. Something that happened that made you unhappy, perhaps. Something you did, perhaps, that you regret. Just continue to sit that way. That's good, fine. Just keep on that way, thinking about it, so we can get what we call a mood picture. Monsieur, soften your face. Just, that's a little too much, Monsieur. Monsieur, just relax now. That's fine. Just relax, Monsieur. That's good. You can move now. I expect that's all we'll have to take today.
Where have you been, Cecile?
Cecile? What do you mean?
You know what I mean, you filthy, cheap, rotten sham!
I think you'd better go now.
So you can meet him. Who is he now, Cecile? Who? The same one? Or you one, Cecile?
You're a
Tell me, Cecile!
Please, you're frightening me. Go away.
I told you I would not have, Cecile! I want you, Cecile! I want you! I want you, Cecile!
Mademoiselle Wallace, the gendarme searched the entire house with you. True? And he found no one. He also searched the entire neighborhood. Is that not so? You have found no one who resembles him?
No one?
It is a very odd story. I cannot imagine who it might have been.
You don't believe me?
It is odd. Very odd. Don't you agree? Mademoiselle, here's some hot coffee for you.
Oh, thank you. Oh, how thoughtful you are.
Tell me, mademoiselle, what was the address of that house again?
344 Avenue Bonaparte.
We have covered everyone who have a record of in this district, mademoiselle. Of course, he could be from somewhere else. Eh, Mazak? Could be almost anybody. Detective Mazak knows everyone around here. He has a photographic memory. Now, if you could be a little more explicit...
Oh, how stupid I am. I have dozens of photographs of him.
You still have them?
Of course. Oh, I could develop them in a few minutes if somebody could go back with me. I can't go back there alone.
I would be very happy to take mademoiselle home. No, Mazak, you're going off duty. Brunel will... No. It's on my way. Mademoiselle, if you please. Tell me, how did the man first get in touch with you?
Well, he didn't get in touch with me. He just was there. He didn't knock.
Did it not seem peculiar? Did it not disturb you?
Well, yes, but you see, he had such a wonderful face.
They're ready now.
Now, perhaps the inspector won't think I'm just an hysterical woman.
No, he does not.
Oh, yes, he does. Can't be. It can't be. How could it be? But he was here. He was right here. He tried to kill me.
Mademoiselle.
I'm not imagining it. He tried to kill me. You have to believe me. You have to.
Mademoiselle,
You
please.
think I'm crazy?
Please, do not excite yourself. I do believe you.
You believe he was here?
I believe you are telling me the truth. Mademoiselle, I want you to come with me on a short trip.
Where? For what?
I want to show you something. Oh, I promise no harm will come to you.
For what? Where? What's it about?
I must ask you to come with me without telling you what I expect, because I don't expect it. But we must find out. Mademoiselle, please. Please, mademoiselle. Mademoiselle. Jean Gabot died 1926. Executed for killing his young wife. The very same house, the very same room.
What was her name?
Cecile. So you see, dead men do tell tales. Sometimes, the restless ones even revisit the scene of the crime, causing much havoc among the living thereby. What do you suppose that Rita Wallace will tell her grandchildren one day about Monsieur Jean Gabot? Will she try to explain it at all? Well, that I would like to hear, because I can't explain it. But it happened just the same.
Well, was it a true story or wasn't it? who cares? It's just a good story. And as I said at the top of the show, Laura Van E is still dead. Well, my lords and ladies, I want to thank you all for watching, and I want to invite you all back again next week when we'll do whatever this is all over again. As always, I am Lord Blood-Rah saying, geek out.